Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to go into our severe weather chapter. Before we get started, if you want to pull this up on your own, it's in your Google Classroom, and then we're also going to go over our project for this section, and that's also in your Google Classroom. Make sure you guys have a pen and paper out because this stuff might be handy in the future. So we'll get started. Feel free to pause anytime and just continue when you're ready. So severe weather. Severe weather, the definition in your guys' book is that it includes hail, heavy rain, lightning, or strong winds. This weather causes billions of dollars worth of damage each year. So as you see from the different states, we all kind of have different issues. Louisiana, Florida have hurricanes, California has earthquakes, Texas, Oklahoma have tornadoes and such. And all these things cause damage that do financially strain our nation. So very interesting kind of to see how that plays out, and we'll go into that in a little bit more detail on a slide further up. So let's talk about thunderstorms. Um, Tomorrow we'll be talking about thunderstorms, seeing who's been through them, what they noticed about them. But a thunderstorm is a heavy storm that is accompanied by rain, thunder, lightning, and strong wind. Heavy rain or hailstorms may be produced, and there is about 100,000 thunderstorms a year in the USA. So again, tomorrow we'll be discussing um, if any of you guys have been into it. I'm sure some of you guys have, and kind of your experience through it, because they are very beautiful things, but they can also be a little bit dangerous if you're out in the middle of nowhere and don't have the proper shelter. The next inclement weather we will be talking about is lightning, which occurs during thunderstorms. Occurs when the top of the cloud carries a positive charge of electricity, while the bottom of the cloud carries a negative charge of electricity. So whenever you see those cumulonimbus clouds getting dark and rainy, that's probably a good signal that there might be lightning coming. So again, when there's lightning, make sure you get into shelter, make sure you get covered. But pretty interesting thing. There's a lot of cool videos actually online that show lightning and show kind of the process in further detail. And again, this is just an introduction, so we'll be breaking all of these down a little bit more as we get further into the chapter. But today's our intro, just kind of talk about them briefly, kind of our experiences and whatnot. The next we will be talking about is hurricanes. A hurricane is a tropical storm with winds of at least 120 kilometers an hour that spiral in towards its intense low pressure center. Most dangerous storms on Earth occur over warm tropical oceans. So, like we talked about, these occur on the coast of Florida, on the coast of Louisiana. They've also been down in Mexico, um, the Gulf of Mexico. So, again, very dangerous things. These are definitely something you don't want to be in the middle of, and that's why they've created these warning signals to let us know when a hurricane's coming, so people can take the appropriate actions and keep themselves safe. To continue on hurricanes, the most dangerous part of a hurricane is its rising sea levels and large waves created called storm surges. Okay, so again, this is when you see those videos, or if you guys ever watch National Geographic and see one of these, when those waves are coming up onto the beach and onto the walkways and onto the streets, and eventually taking out buildings that are closer to the ocean, right? So that's created from hurricanes. Hurricanes are measured from Category 1 as the weakest storm and Category 5 being the strongest storm. So the next thing we will be talking about is tornadoes. A tornado is a destructive rotating column of air that has very high wind speeds and is visible as a funnel-shaped cloud. Occur when a thunderstorm meets high altitude horizontal winds. And horizontal winds, I'm sorry. In tornado alley is an area between Texas and Midwestern US where tornadoes are most common. So again, we've seen the movies Twister, we've seen these on TV, all things like that, and very dangerous. There actually is a lot more tornadoes than hurricanes, and tornadoes actually cause the most damage financially Not saying they're more dangerous, but financially to our country than hurricanes do. So kind of an interesting fact, and that's just because there's so many of them a year. So I can't let you guys hear this video on the screencast. So go onto your Google Doc and play the video on your own. It's about 4 minutes long, but it's like it says in the title, what's worse, a hurricane or a tornado? And it's a pretty interesting video that kind of tells us the difference in a few aspects, and also kind of talks about what makes each one dangerous and whatnot. So it's pretty interesting. So our closure, again, in your notebook, in 4 to 5 sentences, okay, describe what your protocol would be to stay safe during a tornado. Okay, so that's going to be our closure there. So let me move on real quick and get through to our project, okay? And this is what we'll be doing in class tomorrow, just starting it, but just so you guys can get familiar with it. So this is going to be our natural disaster project presentation, and if you guys want to get started on at least researching, that's okay, but we'll have time in class to get it done. So start us off. Step 1, research and choose a famous natural disaster. It has to be an earthquake, volcano, thunderstorm, tornado, hurricane, or a tsunami. If you have anything else in mind, make sure you run it by me. Step 2 is create your Google Slides. Okay, so we need 6 slides total. The first one is going to be, what is your natural disaster? Make sure to define what it is. Again, we want a specific one, not just tsunami, right? We want something specific like Hurricane Katrina or the San Francisco earthquakes or Mount Vesuvius, whatever it is. So make sure you're describing it there. And we'll go into a little bit more detail in the slides in a few. But just a brief thing, if you guys want to print this out or take a picture of this as a reminder of what our slides need to be. So number 2 would be, when and where did it take place? Number 3 is, what level storm was it and what does that mean? Number 4, what kind of damage did it create? Number 5, slide 5 will be, what was the significance on society? And slide 6 is just going to be your cited sources. So our slides must be thorough and detailed. Each slide must have visuals. These have to be done in order to get full credit. Let's go to step 3. Step 3. So this is the fun, more creative side of our project. You get to choose to either 1, create a visual project of the disaster, and I'll show you a few examples in a bit, or 2, create a 2-minute script and do a 2-minute presentation with your slides to the class. So the script can be just like an outline, so I can follow along as I'm listening, and it also shows me that you did your work, did your research, and you have something to talk. It has to be at least 2 minutes. So here's our rubric. Grades will be graded as follows. Complete all 7 slides. That 7th slide, I'm sorry, I forgot to add that in. You need a title slide with your name and what it is. So apologies, that wasn't on the slide thing, and we'll talk about that more if you guys get confused, but pretty easy. 2, slides are thorough and have visuals. 3, creativity of your project or your completed script with 2-minute presentation. And again, if you guys want to print this out or just go back to this, this will be in your Google Classroom. So slides are going to be half of your grade, and the project or presentation will be the other half. Pretty simple. And your effort counts, so put the effort in. If I see you guys have put that effort in, put that work in, put the hours in, then your grade will reflect on that. So real quick, just to show you guys some examples, let me zoom in on this. This is a very good one, but this is a volcano display. I don't know exactly which one it is. It's not labeled, but that's one from one of my last classes, and I can't remember what, I think it was Mount Vesuvius. Oh, no, this was St. Helens in Washington. So that's what they did. They created it with the little Lego guys. Then I have another one. Oops, I exited out of this. I have another one from another one of my students from last year. We get to that one, and they use Legos as well. She did a tornado. Again, I'm not sure on the exact tornado. The tornadoes are a little bit more, since there's so many of them, they don't really necessarily have a name, so a lot of them are go by year. If there was one with that had a lot of destruction, so I can't remember the year off the bat she did, but they did yet Legos as well. And kind of, I think they used cotton balls for their tornado, a Hot Wheel. So that's kind of those are good projects. They both got A's from last year, but just kind of to give you some ideas. So the due date is going to be October 20th. Slides are 25 points. Your project or presentation is 25 points. And that is it for tonight. If you guys have questions, make sure to email me or ask when I see you guys. Again, but make sure we go through the slides, finish your closure, and then be ready to go on this. Like I said, you don't have to get carried away, but maybe do a little bit of research on a natural disaster that kind of interests you, so you can get started and get rolling tomorrow once we get into class and get the Chromebooks and get our slides started. Okay. Hope everybody has a good rest of your day, and I will see you all soon.